Right now at 5, 2 crashes near Joplin, Missouri, with one collision involving a Jasper County deputy.
And we're a little cooler out there today, but still above freezing, so that'll help with some of the remaining snow. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a solar company presents a revised proposal to the residents of Crawford County, but not everyone is convinced.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, February the 3rd. We're into February. Yes. It didn't really feel like February yesterday, but honestly, that's all right.
I was happy with it. This is like the first time I was not worried about like driving down my little cul-de-sac because there was like no ice this morning.
Yeah, barely
so
anything on the roads now. So still a little bit of snow out there, but it will be gone probably in the next couple of days. But it is going to be a little cooler today than where we were yesterday. So hopefully you got to enjoy that. Let's start with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh. And there it is. See, there's still some snow, but not nearly as much as what there was 24 hours ago, as we've, again, got a little more melting done yesterday. Westco Camera 7th and Range line looking a lot better. Again, the snow piles, they're going to take a second in those parking lots, of course, but even they are smaller. And even the Baxter Springs camera on 69 here, it's not as snow covered. There's still some, but not as much out there. And our final stop, the MoDOT Camera 32nd and Range line looking back to the south. Looks good. Again, there's a really big snow pile. That's going to take a few more days, but most of it is gone. I know one of the biggest hazards, I'm sure some of you folks have probably noticed, is on my commute back home and stuff, there's people walking in the street because sidewalks along a lot of the main roads are not clear. They can't walk on them, and so they're walking in the road. So you got to be cautious out there. And those walking in the road, you also need to be very aware. I've seen a couple that folks, they've been on their phones, and traffic's coming up, and they have no idea what's going on around them. So I get that, you can't walk there. You got to walk here sometimes. You just got to make sure you're also aware as to what's going on around you. This morning, better temperature-wise. Look at these numbers. We're in the mid to upper 30s out there, some low 40s, except Bentonville, which is sitting at 47 degrees this morning, almost 50. But that's also the sign you can see where that cold front is. We talked about it coming through right about now. It's supposed to be right along I-44, and it's pushing on through. So we're going to have those north winds back behind it. We may have some brief moments of some mostly clear to partly cloudy skies this morning, but clouds will thicken up again pretty quickly as we head into the afternoon. Still expected to be dry. An isolated sprinkle or two, not out of the question, but not very likely. Kids heading out the door this morning, low 30s. We'll go to the low 40s by lunch and recess and into the mid 40s as they head home. That's about where our highs are going to head. We're looking at the mid 30s by 9, low 40s by noon, low mid 40s for our highs, and again a north breeze at 5 to 10. So thankfully not overly breezy out there to make it feel any colder, but definitely cooler than yesterday and just a smidge below normal. We do get a little cooler tomorrow, and then the temperatures climb again. We'll have a look at your full forecast in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. Missouri State Highway Patrol is investigating a DWI crash near Carthage yesterday. Troopers say a southbound SUV left Country Club Road near Summit Lane and hit a tree just west of the city limits around 1:30. The driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to an area hospital. Carthage Fire, Jasper County deputies, and Mercy Ambulance all responded to the scene. Another crash yesterday involved a Jasper County deputy. The T-bone collision occurred at 20th and Main Street in Joplin. Both drivers were transported to a nearby hospital as a precaution. The crash is still under investigation. A head-on crash claims the life of a Pittsburgh teacher. The crash happened back on January 17th, just west of Pittsburgh. Troopers say a pickup was passing multiple vehicles at a high rate of speed when the collision happened. The driver of the truck, Craig Sylvie of Cherokee, died at the scene. The passenger of the car, Heather Burgess of Girard, suffered serious injuries. She was taken to an area hospital where she recently died of her injuries. The body of a missing Lake of the Ozarks woman is discovered in a crash. Crews responded to the crash on US 54 in Miller County earlier yesterday. 35-year-old Amanda Rogers was located dead at the scene. Authorities reported Rogers missing on January 26th after she failed to pick up her children in the Camdenton area. While the investigation is ongoing, no foul play or suspicious circumstances are suspected. Our stories are often discovered by you, our viewers. We invite you to share your news tips with us. Scan the QR code and you'll be taken to a form where you can submit a tip quickly and easily. Thank you for being a part of the story. Southeast Kansas residents say they want transparency, not buyouts from a proposed solar farm project in Crawford County. The debate over Shasta Power's proposed solar project in Crawford County continues as the company rolls out a revised proposal. County leaders say questions remain about how those changes are being communicated to residents.
Kind of a strong arm approach where they're saying if you don't do it, you're going to not get compensated, and that there may be the threat of eminent domain and some things thrown out there. Now the message is different from different constituents. It's not all the same, but there was a few that felt like they were being strong-armed into the proposition. That's really not what we approved.
Well, with the Olympics and Super Bowl right around the corner, scammers are ready to take advantage of sports bettors. Chris Bryan has things to keep in mind so you don't become a victim when placing a wager.
It's an exciting time. We love the Super Bowl. And so it's easy to get carried away. So just make sure that you're engaging properly, that when you do go ahead and choose a good platform and you've done your research.
The American Gaming Association says Americans are expected to wager nearly $1.76 billion on the Super Bowl this weekend.
Unsolicited links are always something to be suspicious of. That's a red flag. If you did not initiate the sports bettor, the wager, then it's best to leave that alone.
From the money line, point spread, total points, prop bets, and even parlays, the options when it comes to placing a wager this weekend seem endless. However, scammers will attempt to use fraudulent websites, promotions, social media, and even offshore sites to try to steal your money.
So they're counting on you to let your guard down and maybe click on a suspicious link or just engage with some sort of unknown platform that they really shouldn't. And so that's why it's really important that, number one, you make sure that it's legal to place a bet in your state, wherever you are. And also best to deal with sports books that are whitelisted, as the term is, meaning that they are approved by the local gaming commission.
And also be sure to read the fine print so you know what to expect if you win or lose.
If you need help with a gambling addiction, you can call 1-800-MY-RESET or 1-888-BETS-OFF. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, NASA prepares for its first crewed flight of a new rocket system with a major rehearsal. Plus, lawmakers work to end a partial shutdown while negotiating reforms to federal enforcement. And warm weather is set to return in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth visited Cape Canaveral, Florida, where NASA is conducting a critical fueling test ahead of the historic Artemis II mission to the moon. The mission scheduled for this month will be NASA's first crewed flight of the Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft. Teams are in the middle of a wet dress rehearsal. They're powering up the core stage to load hundreds of thousands of gallons of cryogenic fuel. Yesterday, Hegseth met with Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos, whose company is pausing space tourism flights to focus on building NASA's next-generation lunar lander. The House Rules Committee is set to take up a funding package this afternoon to end the partial government shutdown that began this weekend. The Senate passed a deal Friday to separate out funding for the Department of Homeland Security while lawmakers negotiate reforms on ICE. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Ahead of a key committee meeting Monday, House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed optimism that the partial government shutdown will soon be over.
Well, let's say I'm confident that we'll do it at least by Tuesday. We have a logistical challenge of getting everyone in town.
The House Rules Committee is considering the deal the Senate passed Friday, which separates out the Department of Homeland Security and provides just 2 weeks of funding so lawmakers can negotiate reforms to ICE in the wake of the deadly shootings by federal agents in Minneapolis last month. Some Democratic lawmakers in the House have signaled they will vote against the funding package, demanding real changes before ICE and Customs and Border Protection receive more funding.
for the Democrats to turn around and vote against it on Tuesday just to shut down the federal government makes no sense to me at all. I think the Speaker, the trick is getting it through the Rules Committee, and I believe that the Speaker would not do that if he didn't have the votes.
Democrats are calling for an end to roving patrols of ICE agents, tighter warrant rules, body cameras for all agents, and a ban on face coverings.
Taxpayer dollars should not be used to brutalize the American people, and in some instances, kill them.
Other government agencies are also affected by the partial shutdown, including the Department of Defense, the State Department, and the Treasury Department. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, Congress already passed about half of the funding bill, so money for things such as the FDA and food assistance is not an issue this time around. Well, still to come, your sleep machine could be sabotaging your rest. Plus, warm weather is set to return in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. Layla Edwards is set to make history as the first black female to represent the U.S. in Olympic hockey. Before heading to Milan, Italy, the 21-year-old enjoyed a memorable homecoming in Cleveland. Jared Hill has her story.
Layla Edwards has one heck of an icebreaker.
I started hockey just to do something, to stay busy.
Now, the college senior is the first black woman to represent USA hockey on the ice at the Olympics.
As I got older and more familiar with the sport and continued to work at it, these things were becoming more of a reality.
USA hockey coach John Wroblewski recognized Edwards' growth.
She's dialed in. She's changed positions. You know, she goes from forward to D, Red Bull athlete. All of these things, they're inspiring to watch.
Before the trip to the games in Milan, Italy, USA Hockey scheduled a rivalry series game against Canada in Cleveland, Ohio, Edwards' hometown.
It feels like a full circle moment.
Her parents, Robert and Sharon, have been at their daughter's side throughout her journey. And thanks to a GoFundMe boost from fellow Ohio natives Travis and Jason Kelsey, they'll be there to cheer her on at the Olympics as well.
When you get that close and you can almost see it, it's like opening ceremony, watching her walk with all of those athletes that are representing their countries. That's pretty big.
With the games now just days away, there are a lot of eyes on this 6-foot-tall forward-turned defender. But her dad says they're trying to manage the pressure.
We're, trying our hardest, to make sure that she knows that it doesn't matter, how she performs, that, we love her to death.
All the hard work is worth it for sure.
Going for gold with Team USA, she's already turned her hard work into history. Jared Hill, CBS News.
It sounds like she's going to be a great representation for us competing for the U.S. Well, now here's Chris with
Yeah, we have got not a bad start out there this morning. We are a little warmer than yesterday. However, temperatures today will be a little cooler than yesterday. A bit more cloud cover as well. Look at your forecast when we come back.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
And we've got a slightly warmer start to today, but our temperatures, believe it or not, are going to be a little cooler today. We're going to be just a pinch below normal. We'll be a little more below normal tomorrow. We're going to get to all that, starting, of course, with today. Now, we could have a brief period of some clearing for some folks as we go into the morning. It won't last very long. Clouds will thicken back up because what we've got is that cold front that right now is right about where it should be, about along the I-44 corridor. It's pushing on through this morning. We'll have north winds back behind. Clouds will increase. And like I said, our temperatures just a smidge below average because we should be about the upper 40s. We're looking at low mid 40s today. We'll continue with cloudy skies tonight into tomorrow. We could get a stray sprinkle or two here or there, but the overall chances are extraordinarily low. But don't be surprised if you get a couple of raindrops on the windshield. And that's the nice thing is it should still at least be raindrops. We're not looking at any wintry stuff with this. We remain cloudy throughout the day on our Wednesday, and it will continue into Wednesday night and the beginning of our Thursday, but we start to see a shift. Winds by Thursday morning start pushing out of the west and southwest. The clouds will begin clearing through the morning into the afternoon. Now we're looking at some gusty southwest winds, but we're looking at clear skies by the afternoon and evening hours. And temperatures, thanks to that gusty southwest wind, begin picking back up for us. For this morning, I said, a better start this morning. We were in the teens and 20s yesterday. We're in the 30s, again, because we're just behind that cold front. So low 30s to start, upper 30s, though, by 11. You say the warming isn't going to be as quick as it was or as nice as it was yesterday. Into the afternoon we go, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures into the low to mid 40s for most of us. And we'll have those north winds at about 5 to 10. That's the one plus, is while our temperatures are going to be cooler, we're not looking at gusty winds with these cooler temperatures, so it's not going to feel any worse than what this is, and that's not bad. I mean, again, compared to the last couple of weeks, that still isn't bad. Overnight tonight, seasonably cold, and I emphasize that simply because, 26, like I say, even 33, that's cold. Yes, 26 is cold, but it's right about where we should be, and it's nice to be normal every so often, and that's where we're headed tonight. Mostly cloudy through the evening, mid-30s by 10. Winds expected to become calm late this evening into the overnight hours. We'll pick back up out of the north tomorrow, still only about 5 to 10, but because all the clouds, we don't really get a lot of warming going on. So we're into the upper 30s and low 40s tomorrow. Still should be above freezing for our highs. We'll still get some melting done. Just going to be a little bit more below normal, but our lows staying seasonable. Then, like I said, by Thursday, skies clear. Now, depending on how quickly skies clear for some of you, you may be a little warmer than that, but I think on average we're looking at the low 50s. We're getting close to 60 on Friday with sunny skies. Not too bad for Saturday. Got some evening rain chances, maybe a few sprinkles for our Monday, so Sunday into Monday. Take a look though. Next week we start seeing some low 60s and upper 50s out there. And next Tuesday we do have some shower and thunderstorm chances. Now right now obviously we're very far away, but we're not seeing anything that's yelling severe weather at us by next Tuesday, but some showers and storms are on the horizon, and of course if anything changes with those storms we'll certainly let you know, but right now nothing to really worry about, just some nice mild spring-like temperatures to look forward to once we get past today and tomorrow. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. A warning for people who use sound machines or apps to fall asleep. A new study finds so-called pink noise, which is continuous noise that sounds like static or a waterfall, may actually interfere with sleep recovery and reduce REM sleep. University of Pennsylvania researchers say earplugs were much more effective at blocking out outside noise and helping people get sleep. Physical therapy can be critical to help recover from accidents or injuries, but more therapists say you should consider booking a session when you're healthy. Bradley Blackburn explains why.
I'm pretty flexible now.
At age 87, Alan Siegel is the picture of health.
Same thing over here.
So you might wonder why he's working with physical therapist Karen Litzy.
Try and lift up as high as you can.
When he has no injuries and good mobility. It's because he wants to keep it that way.
Is staying active important to you?
Absolutely. Being active is the story of my life in many ways.
Hold.
Siegel played basketball in college, and he still plays sports.
I play tennis. I row canoes. I bike. I walk a lot.
But he says PT gives him something regular exercise can't.
I think it's healthier. It doesn't punish the body, rather it enhances the body in flexibility and mobility, and that's, to me, the most important thing.
A recent survey from the American Physical Therapy Association found 2/3 of Americans fear losing their mobility more than death.
It doesn't have to be running a marathon, but you should be able to get up out of a chair.
Litzy says professional physical therapy can help you adapt to age and extend your health span. That's the length, not just of life, but of good health.
I think a lot of people only think of physical therapy as something that can fix you versus physical therapy being preventative so that you don't need to be fixed.
I can do 50 sit-ups now. I don't even know if I could do it when I was younger.
For Siegel, movement is life.
It's fun to see that at this age I can still do them.
And back out.
And PT helps him keep moving forward. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
According to the APTA survey, nearly 3 in 4 older Americans recognize that physical therapy can support healthy aging, but most haven't seen a therapist in over 5 years. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, MSSU tackles a critical nursing shortage by expanding its program.
And we've got some clouds out there, little clearing, more clouds on the way, and temperatures a bit cooler today. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, data center opposition grows in Joplin. Residents prepare backup plans if the council vote fails.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KLAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, February the 3rd. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Monday was a nice day.
Yeah.
I got home and I had my coat on when I left, but I got home like, man, I really don't even need this. I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't that bad. And without super gusty winds, it makes it nicer, You can enjoy the warmth a little.
I think we're all just grateful for it after, the past week or two of very, very cold.
Tell me about
very,
it.
very icy or snowy.
It's been a long
it's
week
melty,
and a half
it's
now.
going away. You can be outside without having to have 4 layers of clothing on.
Yeah,
it's
I
amazing.
can't complain for the time being. Of course, we're still technically in winter, so we'll have to see what happens later. But at least for now, a break from all of that. In fact, downtown Pittsburgh, a lot less snow out there than what we saw this time yesterday morning. And how do we know? Well, you see, we put a camera on top of a building at 4th and Broadway, and we use it to spy on the streets. They're up to something. Yeah. Those streets are always up to something. All right. That's it for the weird part. Now on to the not so weird part, but a lot less snow out there. See, now don't get me wrong, you have snow piles and plows piles and things like that. They're going to take a little longer, but you can see more of the sidewalk across the area. Westco camera, 7th and Rangeline, same thing. Really here, the biggest snow remaining is what's been scooped up in the parking lots, and that's still going to take some time. KDOT camera, 69, just north of Baxter Springs. You can see a little more grass in here. We saw a little bit more snow covering this little bank here, but now a little more grass starting to show up. And the MoDOT camera, 32nd in Rangeline in Joplin, looking back to the south, looks good. Sidewalks are clearing. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of folks, and I'm sure you at home have noticed this, that have been walking in the streets, especially on some of the main roads, because the sidewalks have been covered. Along 7th Street, West 7th, a lot of those sidewalks are impassable. The problem, though, is some of these folks are on their phones or their devices. They're not paying attention to traffic. So we've got to be cautious as drivers, but if you are walking in the street, make sure you're staying alert to what is around you, because somebody on either side not paying attention could lead to a much more serious situation. Thankfully, nothing like that, but still be careful. All right, you can see where the cold front is right now, just south of I-44. So back behind it, we're still warmer than yesterday. It's cold, yes, but warmer than yesterday morning, into the mid-30s for most of us. But ahead of the front, still some 40s. Bentonville still at 47. But as that front pushes through, those temperatures will drop. North winds back behind it. Clouds, again, we do have some clearing expected to take place this morning. It will be brief, so some mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, but it doesn't take long for us to go back to mostly cloudy, and an isolated sprinkle or two not out of the question, but overall rain chances today very low. All right, kids out the door. Again, a little better than yesterday. Low 30s. We'll go low 40s, though. Mostly cloudy by lunch and recess, and low to mid 40s as they head home later today. So not a lot of warming, a little below normal, not as warm as yesterday. Mid 30s by 9, low 40s by noon, low mid 40s for those highs today. North winds at about 5 to 10. We're going to be a little cooler tomorrow than where we're going to be today, but this is all pretty brief. Temperatures begin warming up later as we head into Thursday. We're going to break down the details on just how much warmer it's going to be in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Joplin City Council votes last night on the future of the historic Memorial Hall. The century-old building is on its way to a $17 million renovation through a public-private partnership. The Friends of Memorial Hall group asked for $7 million in city bonds, funded by increasing the lodging tax from 4% to 6%. The tax would only be paid by overnight visitors at Joplin hotels, not by residents. Last night's vote approved the framework for the deal, but voters would still need to approve the tax increase in a future election.
We thought it was a very viable opportunity because it will not directly affect the citizens of Joplin. It's not a sales tax on us. It's not a property tax or a personal property tax. It's actually going to be a tax on those people that come through Joplin and visit and stay in our hotels and motels.
Last night's decision is one step closer to saving the Veterans Memorial from demolition and creating a community hub for downtown Joplin. The renovations would restore the building's 2,200 seat capacity and create a space for weddings, concerts, community events, and a new home for the American Legion. Well, one small Missouri town gets some big recognition. Neosho is named one of the winners of the Small Town Showcase Show Me 250. The showcase, hosted by the nonprofit Missouri Humanities, features small Missouri communities that have a lot of history and personality to offer, but may get overlooked by their bigger neighbors. Neosho and 4 other communities will be featured on the Small Town Showcase podcast, as well as a short film about each town. Missouri Southern State University doubles its nursing program capacity this spring. Previously, the university accepted just 30 nursing students each fall. Now the program welcomes an additional 20 students every spring semester. The change creates 4 active student groups and allows up to 100 students to progress through the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program simultaneously. Mercy Hospital, Joplin, is funding the expansion to address the 4-state region's critical shortage of qualified nurses.
We expect the need for nursing professionals to grow and grow and grow. I think projections out even into the 2030, 2035 area. There will always be a need for quality nursing professionals and for professional nursing, whether it be LPN, RN.
The expansion comes as Missouri Southern prepares to launch a Master of Science in Nursing program next fall. The university's nursing graduates have achieved 100% pass rate on their licensing exam for 3 straight years. Well, opposition over a proposed data center grows in Joplin. Later this month, the Joplin City Council will once again discuss the proposed Wildwood Ranch annexation, land that's earmarked to build a data center. KOAM's Kenny Foreman finds out what concerned Joplin residents are doing to ensure their voices are heard.
After the voting did not go in her favor at the January 20th meeting, Rebecca Collins, president of the Joplin Sustainable Technology Alliance, felt determined to give the council more to think about the next time around.
They cannot tell an individual citizen what to do with their property, but that's where the citizens of Joplin can step in, and we can use our voice to say, hey, we know that there's a proposed data site going in this property, and we are not okay with that. So if the city isn't going to step up and call for their own moratorium, then we will.
She helped initiate a petition calling for a moratorium and environmental study to be put in place before the city can go forward with plans for a proposed data center. In just a few short days, many Joplin residents signed it, letting the city know how they feel about the property.
If we can gather, a couple hundred people to show up at a city council meeting, that's nothing compared to allowing the entirety of the community to know exactly what they're voting for, exactly what they would get out of this project. So I think the biggest thing is allowing the community to have their voice heard in as many ways as possible.
And in the event that the voting doesn't go in their favor, the petitioners don't anticipate accepting defeat right away.
If the council does go ahead and annex the property at the city council meeting, then we will go ahead and push for a referendum, which would ask to overturn the council's decision on that and put it on the ballot so the citizens of Joplin can vote.
In any event, Collins is confident that her community will back each other up when it matters most.
The community has really stepped up. So this has been a grassroots movement where community members have been texting each other, posting in the Facebook page, really just getting the word out, putting boots on the ground. So it's been really inspiring to see.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
The February 17th council vote will be held at MSSU in order to accommodate more people following higher than usual attendance at last month's meeting. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A major sports network finalizes a deal to acquire key NFL properties, the media merger and what it means for viewers. And a retiree takes the ultimate vacation with a private jet trip around the world. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, ESPN has finalized its deal to acquire NFL Network, NFL Fantasy, and the rights to Red Zone. The NFL gets a 10% stake in ESPN as part of the deal. In a statement, the two companies said NFL employees will begin integrating into ESPN in the months ahead, though ESPN says viewers are not expected to notice changes until the spring. Horror flicks ruled the box office over the weekend in North America. Send Help took the top spot, scaring up an estimated $20 million, with Iron Lung earned over $17 million at number 2. Melania, the documentary profiling First Lady Melania Trump, had a strong debut, coming in third with an estimated $7 million. Well, a trip around the world may sound like something only found in an adventure novel, but for more Americans are choosing to embark on the epic journey in lavish style or a more budget fashion. In today's Travel Tuesday, CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette hops aboard and shows how to make it a reality.
Live from Peru. Retiree Randy Goodwin from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, clearly embraced every part of his recent private jet trip around the world with the travel agency Safran's Dumont.
New horizon, new adventure.
From a luxury Belmont train to see the wonders of Machu Picchu, absorbing the culture of Easter Island in Chile, and its stone statues, the indulgence of an overwater bungalow room at Conrad Bora Bora Nui in French Polynesia.
So this is the main street of Sydney.
To walking some of the world's great capital cities and ancient sites. Goodwin and his fellow passengers experienced a whirlwind 9-destination jaunt around the world.
I love it. It's quick, efficient.
The World Tour makes the same stops every fall. The journey lasts almost a month, limited to 50 guests on board.
It's a life-changing experience.
Paired with an onboard bar cart and lounge area. The company, born in France, invited us on a portion of the trip, which features French champagne and wine and a native chef on board.
We are very happy to be French and very proud, so we want to share that.
The trip starts at a cool $100,000, part of Goodwin's travel-heavy retirement strategy.
Like everything else, you got to plan for it. It just doesn't happen. So this is the brass ring at the end of the long road.
There are more budget brass rings, using saved points or miles, or working with an around-the-world specialty travel agency like AirTrex.
One thing that people might find surprising is that an around-the-world ticket can be purchased for as little as $3,000 or maybe 150,000 miles.
Star Alliance and One World offer round-the-world tickets through their partners. There are tight restrictions, such as a minimum and maximum number of flights, starting and ending in the same country, and traveling east or west with no backtracking. But it could still be your ticket around the world in 80 days, or just 18. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
AirTrex suggests a daily spend to accrue enough points for an around-the-world ticket. For economy class, sign up for a 1.5-time multiplier credit card and spend $10 a day for 18 months to build up enough miles for that magic ticket. That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we have got, again, a slightly warmer start this morning. However, it is going to be a cooler day out there with some more clouds. We'll take a look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Plan on getting chicken wings for this weekend's big game? You're not alone. Find out how many chicken wings Americans will eat in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Tyne Morgan with today's Ag Day Minute. President Trump announcing he plans to lower tariffs on goods from India from 25% down to 18%. It comes after President Trump says Indian Prime Minister Modi agreed to stop buying Russian oil. The president also saying on a Truth Social post that India's Prime Minister is committed to buy American, including over $500 billion of U.S. energy, technology, agriculture, and coal. USDA says it will begin dropping sterile flies into Texas. This graphic showing the new dispersal zone, which now extends 50 miles into southeast Texas. It's an area along the U.S. border. Recently, Mexico reported 8 new cases of New World screwworm in a state in northern Mexico. The parasite can feed on the living tissues of animals, including livestock, which could devastate the U.S. cattle population if it crossed the border. This weekend is the Super Bowl, and one thing Americans will consume a lot of, well, that's chicken wings. The National Chicken Council says Americans will eat 1.48 billion chicken wings. That represents an increase of nearly 10 million more wings over last year's big game. Oh, and if you laid those wings end to end, they would stretch roughly 27 times from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts to Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or get updates anytime at agweb.com.
Now let's take it over to Chris with a look at your forecast.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
We've got a slightly warmer start this morning, but a slightly cooler day. Okay, it's going to be a little more than slightly. It's about 10 degrees cooler today, but we're still above freezing, and we're only a hair below average, at least for today. Now, we have cloudy skies out there this morning. Could get some clearing briefly this morning, so some mostly clear, partly cloudy skies. But as we roll back into the afternoon, the clouds will make a pretty quick return, and we'll continue with mostly cloudy skies, perhaps a sprinkle or two, but nothing significant expected by any means. And really, the big thing is just the clouds and the cooler temperatures today and tomorrow. The good news is this cool down is brief, but we're definitely going to notice it, especially compared to yesterday. As we go into our Wednesday, well, the clouds are still there. They're going to hang around, still with a light north breeze. And that's some of the good news is even though it's going to cool down, we have that front pushing through this morning, we're not looking at overly gusty winds by any means with this system. So that's some good news there. And again, we're not looking at any snow chances. As we go into Wednesday evening, you saw those rain showers appear and then vanish. That's because that's part of that shorter range future track. It runs out of data by Wednesday afternoon. He thinks we could get a few more showers tomorrow. Right now, it's the only one that thinks that. And in all honesty, right now, it's not looking likely. But we will still have the cloudy skies. And it will remain that way overnight and into our Thursday. But as we start getting into Thursday, winds are going to begin to shift out of the southwest. They're going to pick up a bit. And by Thursday afternoon, skies should clear. Temperatures will be on the upswing across the area. And depending on how quickly your skies clear, some of you may get a little warmer than what I think most of us are going to reach for Thursday, which we will get to here in just a moment as we move through this forecast. So again, partly cloudy skies, maybe even some clear skies for some of you this morning. I think clouds start returning by mid to late morning. We'll start in the low 30s, so better than yesterday because we were in the 20s. But as you can see, temperatures don't take such a big climb like they did yesterday. They don't move a lot, into the upper 30s by 11. Our highs today about the low to mid 40s. We should be in the upper 40s, so that's why today we're below average, which is not fun, but it's not by a lot. And we are still above freezing, so more melting can take place. We'll have those north winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Through the evening, mostly cloudy skies. And then again, the clouds do help slow the temperature drop, but they don't stop it. They don't prevent it. They just slow it. So we'll be back through the mid-30s by 10. Overnight lows tonight, back into the mid-20s, so seasonably cold. That just means that's right about on par for where we should be this time of year. Winds expected to become calm by late evening into the overnight hours. Now, as we head into tomorrow, it's a little colder. Upper 30s, low 40s. Still above freezing. Still can get some melting done. But then we do want to watch out for refreezing tonight and tomorrow. I mean, there's not much left. Thankfully, yesterday it was warm enough, and overnight we were warm enough. Not a lot of freezing. But anything that's still out there, especially the parking lots, that could refreeze, so do be cautious. Then, by Thursday, we're back into the low 50s. We're near 60 for Friday. Some evening showers possible on Sunday, leading into Monday. Maybe even some showers and storms on Tuesday as we cruise into the low 60s. Right now, nothing screaming severe at us by any means. I mean, it's still a week away, but at least that's some good news. Not anticipating anything like that, but of course, as always, we'll keep an eye on it for you as we get a little closer. And staying pretty mild through most of next week. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with sports.
Thanks, Chris. Today in sports, a new face is leading Pitt State athletics following announcement from the university on Friday. Anthony Crispino is taking over as athletic director with longtime Jim Johnson receiving a promotion. Crispino, a Girard native, grew up in the Crimson and Gold, attending football games at Carney Smith Stadium prior to attending PSU. With a family ingrained in guerrilla athletics, he says it's a dream come true to lead the department and showcase his passion for Pitt State.
That's the whole reason I came back, and just growing up here and attending games with my dad, staying on the sideline, being able to have that experience and what this place means to me. You know, my grandpa played here, my grandpa coached here, my uncle Dennis Franchione coached here. Coach Beck actually gave me my start here, hired me in 2011. That was my first season in football. Working with the student assistant, so that's pretty special to me.
The relationship part and understanding and honoring the history and tradition, and he's without question he'll be able to do that. He'll be just another Amanda David. So we'll have one on the coaching side and now one on the admin side, and it certainly just probably means just a little bit more.
That's it for sports. We'll be right back. Warmer temperatures are melting snow off roads after January's winter storm. That's driving people to car washes, and not just for the looks. Cleaning your car after a snowstorm isn't just about appearance. One auto shop owner says snow and salt can corrode vehicle parts and damage components that keep cars running safely.
I've got to get my car to the car wash before too much longer, but I wanted to wait until more of this stuff was off the roads because it doesn't do me much good to wash it and then drive
just
back down
keep
roads.
going over it,
yeah,
right?
That's not going to help at all, and I'm just going to keep spending money on the wash. So I'm sure car washes will be pretty busy over the next few days as we see more of this snow go away. A little cooler today, low 30s to start. Then we'll be into the upper 30s by 11. Our highs just a smidge below average. We should be in the upper 40s. We're looking at the low 40s. Mostly cloudy skies, north breeze at 5 to 10. We have a cold front passing through right now. It's that one we told you about. It's a weak front. We call it that because the temperature drop is not significant. It's noticeable, but not significant, and there's not really any precipitation or anything else associated with it. Mostly cloudy through the evening, back to the mid-30s by 10, and seasonably cold overnight into the mid-20s, and late this evening and overnight, winds expected to become calm. Tomorrow, winds resume out of the north at about 5 to 10. We are a little colder tomorrow, upper 30s and low 40s, and seasonably cold tonight. So that's the thing, melting, especially in parking lots where those huge piles of snow are, could refreeze tonight and tomorrow night. So just keep that in mind. And we're nice again on Thursday. Gusty southwest winds kick in, low 50s, near 60 for Friday. Shower chances late in the evening on our Sunday. Mild next week, 60s and 50s, and maybe even some shower and thunderstorm chances next Tuesday. That's a check of your forecast. Another hour of the KOAM Morning News is right after this.